Welcome to another edition of Diplomatic Channel. I am Amarachi Ubani. On the program this week, we're revisiting xenophobia in South Africa. No, there have been no incidents that we're aware of, but that's not denying the fact that there have been skirmishes here and there. We're not talking about those attacks. This week, we're discussing harassment by law enforcement agents on immigrants in South Africa. The Nigerian community there says there have been times that they have been requested to present legal form of identification, which will be a passport or residence permit, as they're not South Africans. Some say this important piece of document has been torn many times by law enforcement agents or have been damaged in the process of being taken everywhere. To forestall any harm to this legal document, the Nigerian community has endorsed what has been called the Nigerian Identity Card. We'll tell you more about this a little later. Also this week, President Muhammadu Buhari has been embarking on a number of trips outside of Nigeria to solicit support for the country against the Boko Haram insurgency. The president has promised that the Boko Haram insurgency will soon be a thing of the past. But while we await the president's strategy and a renewed offensive against the menace, we're examining the impact of his foreign trips for this cause and what we have benefited from them. That's Diplomatic Channel in a wrap. Stay with us for more in a moment after a quick check on those other discussions in diplomatic circles. Ukrainians were out at the Mariupol city center to protest plans to create a demilitarized buffer zone to separate Kiev's troops and rebels. Ukraine has already pulled back fighters from the volunteer Donbass battalion affiliated with Ukraine's National Guard from the eastern village of Shirokin near the strategic port city. The withdrawal of fighters comes as part of Kiev's demilitarization efforts of the front line of the east, where its forces are pitted against pro-Russian separatists in a bid to implement the ceasefire agreement reached in Minsk, Belarus. Clashes between UN peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic and armed assailants in Bangui has left one UN soldier dead. Witnesses said heavy machine gun fire was heard around 3 in the morning and continued for several hours. The Central African Republic has been in a state of chaos since March 2013, when predominantly Muslim Seleka rebels seized power, triggering reprisals by anti-Balaka Christian militia, who drove tens of thousands of Muslims from the south. Meanwhile, a court in Cairo, Egypt has postponed a verdict on the retrial of journalists with Al Jazeera. The journalists are charged with aiding a terrorist organization, that is the Muslim Brotherhood, outlawed in Egypt after the army ousted Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in 2013. The journalists were originally sentenced to between 7 and 10 years in prison on charges including spreading lies to help a terrorist organization, which they have denied. Finally, aging survivors of the world's first nuclear attack on the civilian population in Hiroshima are worried about the legacy they're leaving behind. Hiroshima survivors usually refrain from talking about their experiences, even with their own children, some from a feeling that the past is too horrific, and others from fear of discrimination against themselves and their offspring. This year's anniversary of the bombing comes as Prime Minister Shinzo Abe seeks to ease the constraints of Japan's post-war pacifist constitution. Welcome back. This past week, investigators found a number of debris that could help in telling us more about the MH370 flight that went missing last year. The plane was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing when it went off the radar. Several countries have been involved in the search for the plane or its survivors or debris that could lead to the plane or tell us what could have happened.
Investigators are hoping that the 2 to 2.5 meter long wing surface known as a flaperon and a fragment of luggage found on the island of Réunion could have come from the missing MH370. Malaysia's Transport Minister Liu Tiong Lai said on Saturday that rather than speculate, he would wait for checks on the flaperon, which could finally confirm that the plane crashed into the sea after veering off course from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, carrying 239 passengers and crew.
Less speculation on this. We wait for the result of the verification. whether it belonged to 777 or it belonged to MH370, I think that yet to be verified. Although from the pictures they say that it looks like the flaperon from the 777, Boeing 777. That's only from the view, but they didn't go into the detail until the technical and detailed verification. So I think we have sent two teams, one team to France, another team to the Reunion Island to look for more debris and more wreckage.
The plane has been missing for 16 months now, leaving relatives uncertain on how to move on and make peace with the absence of their loved ones. The flaperon, which was flown to France on Friday, may have stayed afloat because of air pockets in the structure. It was due to arrive in Paris on Saturday, when it will be delivered to a military unit near the southwestern city of Toulouse, specializing in the analysis of aviation wreckage. The laboratory there is expected to verify the serial number of the wing flap recovered in Réunion before conducting further tests to try to establish how it came to be separated from the rest of the plane. On Saturday, a volcanic eruption on the island threatened to hinder continued search for clues as to what happened to the plane. Meanwhile, the people of St. Andre on the island held a prayer service in memory of those who boarded the missing flight. Authorities believe the plane veered off course for unknown reasons and went down in the southern Indian Ocean. Its last estimated locations was based on pings sent from the plane that were detected by satellite.
When we come back after the break, a new document could help Nigerians in South Africa walk a little more confidently on the streets. Please stay with us.